Can a color palette define a game? Do we need to be good at a certain game to appreciate it? Is there such a thing as having too many options? I may, or may not, answer these and more questions when we take a good look at Hazelnut Hex. My name is Felipe Pereira Sibioni, FPS, and this is the FPS Factor. Now, let's breakfast this review in parts. Scoop. Hazelnut Hex is a 2D horizontal scroller shmup of the bullet hell variety. You play as a cute witch in a quest to save breakfast that suddenly disappears from the world. With cute graphics, killer soundtrack, a fun Saturday morning story, and an arcadey style difficult gameplay, but still on the easier side compared to other shmups, it's a no-brainer to get. It was developed by Cheddar Things, who is a single dev, James, who is Cheddar Things as the name of the studio and the band. It is self-published, which means it's an actual indie game. I'll rant more on how people treat the indie label another day, don't you worry about it. It was released on the 30th of November 2023, a very recent game indeed. It costs $8 full price, but we do have some good discounts. Lots of times I got it at 70%, 75% off if I'm not mistaken. It is 5 stages long, so if you are the type to play a game once and forget about it without caring about replay value of a game, maybe wait for a sale, but do not skip it. It oozes charm, and if you are into getting good at games or want to learn a shmup, want to get into shmups, this is an excellent pick. To check out everything that this game has to offer, stick around while we take a good look at all aspects of the game, starting of course with graphics and aesthetics. The most striking part of the graphics in this game is obviously the color choice. I would call it a vaporware color palette. Considering you have a full Greek stage with statue heads shooting at you, I'd say it is intentional. The outlines are all very thick and purple, made to resemble chalk. I love it so much. I may be somewhat biased on that opinion though, if you take a look at this. My whole channel it's this style. You play as this witch Nat. She's super cute, with her crop top, miniskirt, spats, gloves, nut charm on her neck, which is actually a very important part of her design, more on that later, and of course the obligatory witch hat complete with a cute bow on it. She has a bright green or yellowish skin depending on the present palette, with either purple or pink hair. 10 out of 10 would buy a figure in a heartbeat. Other thing, release one, I'll put it right here. If possible, release with S-Age figure arts for a full scale, not full scale, not 1-1, I don't to be this size. I mean, a full body instead of just being a chibi with big head. I think her proportions are already very good. It would make for a great figure. The animations of the game in general are fluid. Net's sprite itself doesn't move from the original position. She's always on her spoon. She does not ride a broom, she rides a spoon because she's a breakfast witch. Always with her finger pointing forward, but her outline, the charcoal outline, is always moving, as if being drawn frame by frame in an animation. It reminds me a lot of Yoshi Island, where some of the elements have lines drawn like this, but here it's thicker, it's much more pronounced. I love it so very much. But here it is focused on characters combined with these thick outlines. It makes for a wonderful hand-drawn feel of the whole game. It is superb. As I said, the colors mostly depend on the palette of the stage, but I believe that the more official colors of Net are the ones I described: bright green skin with a little more purplish hair. It's what appears on the menus, cutscenes and such. One stylistic choice that seemed to be a bit controversial actually when I saw people reviewing this game is that the art is very clean and the game doesn't have lots of visual effects, lights shining and obscuring everything. You see the bullets, they don't shine very brightly. I actually disagree with that notion that you must have visual effects for it to look cool and etc. Actually, in this game, with this color palette, I appreciate this direction a lot, since it is, in my opinion, one of the main aspects that leads to a good shmup learning experience. You can very clearly see the bullets coming for you. You will not confuse the bullets or their supposed visual effects with the background, with any other element. You can even dim the background for even more clarity when looking at the bullets. This is very important to learn how to play shmups without having the game be made easy, because this is not an easy game. Speaking of dimming the backgrounds are excellent. I love them so much. They have good layering with the parallax effects. Half of them are mostly silhouettes of one color. Other elements have a bit more detail. They are excellent. I want them as wallpapers. The soundtrack is composed by Cheddar Things. The band, as I said, it's also the dev. It is available to purchase from Steam and also other places such as Bandcamp and other places you can find music to buy probably. You can also listen to it on YouTube right here. Take notes, devs, this is how you handle your music for us to enjoy. It's a complete package. You can listen to it if you feel like it, put on your playlist on YouTube. You can also buy it and support the creator. The tracks themselves are classical rock with those classical instruments. You have the guitar, the bass, the drums, a little bit of the keyboard. In this case, the synth lines that they have are chiptune melodies. It complements very well the rest of the music and blends with the game that has a Saturday morning cartoon feel with a video game that we are already accustomed to chiptune soundtracks, so it's a perfect blend of the two. Props on this case, I usually choose a favorite song, the main theme of Hazelnut Hex, that starting of the melody. It's every time I listen to it, oh, I know I'm gonna play the game, I'm gonna have a good time. The soundtracks are okay, as I always say, fit the game very well, and most importantly, they are not obnoxious. It's very important when you have a constant sound effect playing. In this case, it's the sound of you shooting, basically at all times. We also have a little bit of voice acting. Nat has some voice clips for various things, like getting your companion squirrel, getting some good combos, grunts when she gets hurt and dies, and maybe some others. It is very cute. I love her voice. Very competently made. The music and sound is also perfect. 10 out of 10. Usually when we talk about light Saturday morning cartoon style story, we refer to that corny, a little bit simple style of storytelling. You know, we pick up right away. It has a humorous tone due to the interaction of the characters, and it fits this game perfectly. All the breakfast in the world has disappeared suddenly. Being the creator and mascot of the #1 cereal in the world, and a powerful witch, you as Nat has to go through each stage and confront the bosses to get to the bottom of this cereal bowl of a mystery. You are trying to solve the breakfast disappearance mystery, so it's best to ask around, starting with your friends. During the stage themselves, you get the in-game cutscenes with character portraits and dialogue boxes. All the dialogue has that cartoon flair to it, as I said, and the almost full body portraits are beautiful, stunning, well colored. They have also a variety of poses, especially for Nat, she's the main character. You get also different fonts, screen shake on the box for effect. It is perfect. You can, if you wish, turn off the cutscenes. This is, after all, an arcade game. At least for the first time, see the story. Actually, whenever I'm playing this game, I leave the cutscenes all the time. They are marvelous. I love it. They don't try to be humorous in the sense of, oh, let's make just a bunch of jokes. No, the character interaction themselves, you can see the humor from them. It's like a good sketch comedy. It doesn't rely on jokes only. You do have some breakfast puns, of course, but the interaction of the characters themselves are perfect. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Speaking of changing things in the options, you can change actually a lot of things. Oh, exciting. Let's check those options out. Hallelujah, brothers. Finally a good options menu. It's what I've been waiting for all this time, all these games. It's not just good, excellent, perfect, the perfect options menu. Huge props to other things. It contains everything you might need and even more. Finally, you can adjust music, sound effects, and voice separately in 5% increments. In each, you have a slider for each one of them. I'm almost crying from joy, from the emotion. Finally. It is very important on any game with music, sound effects, and voice acting to be able to adjust them separately. Not everyone's setup is the same. Sometimes we do have, for example, if you have a headset that automatically get a boost on the lower spectrum of sound on the bass, the music might be a bit too loud for you to hear people talking, for example. That's why I say it's so important. Control. You always must give control to the players. You can enable VSync. Finally, once again, VSync is back. Thank you. It has been a while since I've seen VSync being possible to be turned on in these videos. You have also a hitbox visibility option to better see your actual hitbox. Very important in a shmup if you don't know. The character sprite is not what you get hit and take a hit on. Most of the character the bullets can pass through, but there's a little part of the character, in this case it's Net's acorn charm. That's what I said before. Her charm is where if you get hit there, it's a little speck in her character sprite, then you take damage. If you don't take damage, if you are not hit there, it does not matter. You can set visibility, you can set it to glow. You might think that it's very hard to get hit, but with such a small hitbox, it is not. Don't worry, we'll get there. As I said before, you can set the background to be darker to see the bullets better. I always leave it at 60 to 70% off so I can also see the background. I love it so much. You also have options to turn on and off screen shake, full screen, and demo sound. This demo sound is when you leave the control, don't touch anything at the main screen, it will go to the demo. It's a demonstration play, perfect for arcades. Why is that? Let's check out later. You also have gameplay options where you can set the number of starting hearts per continue. Very nice. Starting number of bombs. I'll explain every of these terms in the gameplay section, don't worry. And how many points you need to get an extra heart, the so-called extend in other shmups. Also, you can set free play, or if you need to insert credits to play, making it possible to put this game in an actual arcade machine. Yes, you can put this game in an arcade machine. You can put credits on there. If you have an arcade, you can put this game on. It's a very good game. I would strongly advise you to put this game on there. If you put the option to have credits, you have a button dedicated for it, so you can insert the credits and pretend you are in an arcade. Very nice, very nice. You also have 2 difficulties outside of all of these adjustments. They are normal and moderate. Moderate is the harder mode of the 2. This is a difficult shmup. You will need to be on your guard at all times so as to not get cornered with the shower of bullets coming on your way. Even the normal mode, it's not easy. This is a high score type of game. So it's normal to play the lower difficulty and then go up after you get accustomed to it. Here the gameplay that I show, it's mostly on moderate, so you should see how it is. But as I said, even with the adjustments to give you the most advantages, you know, being easier to get the extends, seeing your hitbox, starting with more hearts, starting with more bombs, even with all of these options, even with these adjustments to give you most advantages possible, it is still within the constraints of the challenge that the developer intended for this game. It is very important, because in a game like this, having difficulty options doesn't mean that it does not have an easy mode. The normal mode is not so easy that even a game's journalist could complete it in one credit the whole game. Because games, as I said in another video, are as much as an art form as they are entertainment. The gameplay and difficulty figure among the centerpieces of the creation we call games, and they should be experienced within those boundaries. No, not every game is made for everybody. No, you do not need to play every game. You probably haven't played every game released from the start of gaming until now, so why bother complaining about the difficulty of a game? You don't need to play every game. You can play other games if this game is too difficult for you. Within the same genre, there are countless games with varying degrees of difficulty. You can research and start at the easiest difficulty game and make your way up. Or you can play something else entirely. You are not entitled to demand for lowering the difficulty of a game. Oh, because everyone deserves to play every game. Of course you deserve to play games, but everyone else also deserves to have the experience of playing the game as it was intended. The game is an art. The artists, usually artists, sometimes an artist, define what the game should be. Sometimes, like the guy from Dark Souls said, he had no difficulty options so that everyone experience the same game. How you go about doing so is what gives you the difficulty options. In that game, for example, in Dark Souls, you have magic, which is much easier to defeat enemies with than Sword and Shield. Experiment around, see what's easier, see what's harder, adjust to what you want to play within the constraints of the game. Otherwise, you have other options, there are other games. It's not about, oh, I need to get good because I can feel better. No, it's the experience, it's the art. It is gaming is an art form. When you deny that, it's as if you say, oh, let's take a movie, let's change everything about this movie so that let's dumb down an art movie so that everyone can enjoy it. You can enjoy it as an art. There are other movies you can watch. There are other books you can read. There are other X art form you can watch, experience. Games are the same. Don't try to change a game. Play a different one. If it's not for you, it's completely okay. You don't need to play every game. Not every game is made for everybody. Be careful of games that say they're made for everybody, because sometimes they're made for nobody. A small tangent aside. Is this too many options? No. There can never be too many options. Even if you don't know what to do with them, someone who needs that option will know what to do with it. Perfect. Once again, another perfect aspect of this game. Performance also impeccable. No problems, no glitches, nothing. Especially slowdowns, it's very important that they don't occur in a shmup, even with the screen covered in bullets. I did not have any slowdown, even in my older PC. Very well. Perfect here too. Very simple controls, as expected of an arcade shmup. D-pad, analog, arrow, buttons, WASD, whatever. Move you in all directions. There's a button for shooting and one for the bomb called a super beam. Your flight has a good pace and speed, and you do have fine enough controls for small movements. Very important when you are dodging the whole screen of bullets. If you hold your shooting button, you will auto shoot. While the button is not pressed, you charge a more powerful single shot that also clear bullets in the way. I'll elaborate on that further. You can invert this in the options. There are even more options than I talked about. You can change the controls. You can change some other aspects. This game is perfect. The controls are what they should be for an arcade game. Very simple and instantaneous to learn. Couple seconds you already know everything that you must to play this game. Perfect. I'll keep saying perfect about this game a lot. Get used to it. Let's start with the basics for the uninitiated. This is a shoot 'em up or shmup. You fly around all the screen shooting enemies, mini bosses, and at the end of the stage, a boss. Do this in the 5 stages and you finish the game. The camera will auto scroll to the right, but you don't die. If you hit the edges, you just stay on that edge. The stages themselves are shortish. Since they are auto-scrolling, you have almost a set time to finish them. Normal enemies will enter the screen, do their attack, go away. You have 2 mini-bosses evenly distributed in between the normal enemies, and you have a boss at the end of each stage. The enemy bullets will always fly in patterns, different ones, if either them or the enemies hit you, you will take a hit from one of your hearts. Get hit, lose all your hearts, game over. You can continue if you wish to do so. But if you are looking at this bullet barrage and think it's impossible to dodge, don't worry. As I said before, it's not the whole character that needs to avoid the bullets. That nut charm, it's where you must be to avoid. You must not let it get hit. Just that. That's your hitbox. You can see here the bullets passing through any other part of the character, leaving you unscathed, so don't worry about that. Shmups in general have a heavy arcade tradition, and this game emulates that very well. You have a number of hits represented by your hearts. You can adjust how many you start with, as I said in the options, from 1 to 5. So either you are always a single hit away from game over, or you get 5 chances. Very nice. As I said, if you lose the last heart, game over. Unless you continue, got 10 seconds to press the continue button. You can continue either a set number of times or indefinitely, your choice. As I said, you can either put coins to emulate an arcade machine, or just set it to just continue as much as you like. The main objective of many people who like to play shmups is to complete the game in a single continue. That is, without having to hit the continue button. It's called a 1cc, 1 credit clear. You put a single coin in there and you try to get to the end of the game without needing a second quarter. It comes into play with an achievement included. And also there's another very important tradition of arcade games here, the score. Shmups are one of the last bastions holding up the scoring point system. Here they are used for achievements, top scoring, and for getting extra hearts, as I called before, extension. You can control if you even get extensions or not, and how many points you need for each extensions, from a minimum of 300 points, I think, all the way to a million, meaning if you set it for 300, each time you hit each 300 points you get 300, 600, 900, 120, you get another heart. Very nice. Important, each time you die and hit continue, your points will reset. That's why it's important to 1cc if you are aiming for a big top score and 100% in the game. You have 3 types of shots you can change when you start the game, and you stick with it until the end of your run. They are A, B, and C. The only difference is the spread of the shot. One spreads just a little bit, the other medium, and the last one, C, spreads more. The damage is always the same between each of the shots. You can charge your shot. It is also the same between all 3 types, independent. So you can choose whatever shoot you get. Most people use the C1 because it covers most of the screen. This charged shot, it's very important. It has a secondary effect, as I said before. It destroys enemy bullets. From normal enemies to mini bosses to bosses, it doesn't matter. It destroys most of the enemy bullets. There are some types of bullets that cannot be destroyed, but most of them can. Most of the bullets are the oblong sphere type of shots. They almost always can be destroyed. You have some other type of bullets, for example, a slash type, a big one can't be destroyed, or a very big ball. You will learn soon enough which can and can't be destroyed. It is a good strategy to hold your shot lots of times. Also, it can hit multiple enemies in a row. You kill the first enemy, the shot passes through it and kill however many enemies it can, until you can't kill an enemy with that shot. It diminishes the damage each enemy, but usually you can get a good combo going. This, whenever you hit multiple enemies, you get a multiplier to the points that you earn within that shot. It is very good for top scoring. Mastering the charged shot is an indispensable skill, I'd say, to master your placement in relation to enemies while lining up for the best shot possible. You line up, give you a good shot, so you have space to dodge the barrage of bullets that are coming your way. Your other attack is your special attack. It's called the Bomb for Legacy of the genre. Usually it's the Shmup genre is composed of ships attacking with shots and bombs, so we always call them bombs. Here it's called Super Beam, but also bombs. You have both of them. For example, if you see below, there's a B for bomb. But whenever it's charged, a new bomb is charged, you see Super Beam charged. So you can call whatever you want. It is a special attack given in any shmup. In this case, it's a big ray that goes forward, causes big damage and destroy all bullets on the screen, not just the bullets that are on path of the ray. Very good. It's a big energy beam that lasts about 3 seconds or so, and it keeps destroying the bullets as long as it is on the screen. The destroyed bullets will give you points too, also an achievement. So wait for the perfect time to use it. You can use it on bosses. It is the optimal place to use them, the bombs actually. The more bullets you cancel, always better point-wise. There are some bullets that cannot be destroyed even with this attack, but they are very rare. You will learn them as you go, as I say. Other stuff also gives you points are killing enemies, mini bosses, getting good combos from shooting multiple enemies, picking up the stars. Every enemy that is defeated drop stars, and you must go and gather them. So you must kill an enemy, go gather the stars, keep an eye on the bullets. You have lots of things to contend to. You also, these hazelnuts, they give you points too. They have another use. I'll talk about it. As I said, cancelling bullets with the bomb action also gives you lots of points. And as I said, these points, aside from being used to the top score, also gives you hearts. They are also used in the achievements and leaderboards. Ooh, this game have a leaderboard, so you can show your points to all the other players. Very nice. As I said before, if you lose all of your hearts, you have the option to continue or wait for a game over. If you continue, you get respawned at the same place that you lost, but with your power and points reset to 0. There will be a good number of hazelnuts for you to collect whenever you respawn. But what do they do? Let's talk about the pickups. There are only a few of them in this game. Some shmups have lots of types of pickups. This one is more on the simple size. There are 3 actually only. We have the stars, they give more points, and they also do something else, they fill up your bomb meter. They are dropped by enemies, as I said. You gotta collect them manually, so you gotta collect a lot of these stars to fill up the bomb meter. It is very important to do so before you get to the boss. You have the hazelnuts. This is Hazelnut Hex. They are what gives you power. Whenever you pick one up, you have this power meter on the upper side of the screen. You fill it up, it gives you more damage for your shots, your normal shots. They usually spawn at the end of chains of enemies, mini bosses. When in bosses, they have phases each. Whenever you get between phases, they also drop hazelnuts. Get them up. They also give you points for each you collect. So even if you are full power, it is a good idea to pick them up. You also have Sam the squirrel. It's your friend, your buddy. It's called the option in other shmups. It's a companionship that shoots alongside you. In this case, it's a squirrel. He moves always lagging a little bit behind you, so if you can shoot in different places. There seems to be some specific enemies and parts of the stage that when you defeat that enemy, it gives you Sam in a bubble. He appears always in a bubble, floating in the same place. When you get him, it also cancels all bullets that are currently on screen. Use it to your advantage. You can, when you are in a bad situation, you see Sam, wait for the perfect time, get him. If you ever take damage with Sam, you lose him. You have to get him again. That's it for gameplay systems. Now let's check out how is the combat and difficulty. It is, as I said before, an arcade style game. Not only that, but a shmup, meaning the combat is the main crux of the experience and needs to be fine-tuned to be the best it can be. That means it should be pretty difficult, but so much as not to turn you off the game. Here, combat means shooting and being shot at. How beefy the enemies are, how are their patterns of shooting, all this stuff. And I'm very happy to report that this game is not style over substance. This is, after all, a complete and well-balanced breakfast, filling for the whole day. This game is not only a shmup, but a bullet hell one. Called so because this style of game fills the screen with bullets you must dodge. Later stages in this game get pretty difficult. There are lots of times especially in mini bosses and bosses, that you will see yourself surrounded by a screen full of bullets of different types, each of them doing their own patterns, some of them flying straight, some of them homing in a little bit or a lot to your direction, some of them doing strange patterns like a negative parabola or going down, going up, coming from all directions. You try to dodge, cancel bullets, and still hit enemies at the same time. It is an acquired skill, and it is fantastic. With your hitbox, as I said before, being very small, you don't have to worry about dodging everything all the time. You can concentrate more on the enemies than yourself. Your hitbox is very small, but you still do have to pay some attention. You have to be aware of your hitbox when paying attention to the hundreds of bullets flying on the screen. It does take a while to get used to this. If you have never played any shmup in your life, you will try to dodge a lot with your whole pixel. It's it's kind of funny. Oh, I'm about to get hit. No, wait, it's not. It's not in here. Your model will not be hit by bullets. Until you get accustomed to it, you will try to dodge and get caught when a bullet hits your actual hitbox. Also, touching enemies with your hitbox will damage you, as I said before. The enemies themselves comes in all sizes and difficulties of patterns and movements themselves. You have small ones that take 1 or 2 hits max. Larger normal enemies take a couple of shots. There are some larger steel enemies that have a special attack or so. And of course the mini bosses, they have usually 2 phases each. Takes a lot more shots to kill. As I said before, with your charged attack you can cancel most of the enemies' shots, not all of them. You usually will identify it pretty well because most of the shots are of the blob type. Some are little hearts or such, but usually when it's the same type of bullet that's everywhere, you can cancel it. Usually an enemy will make a special attack with one type of bullet that cannot be cancelled. It is pretty quickly to judge which shots to dodge instead of cancel. All bosses, basically, aside from one, have 2 phases. One is a bit more relaxed, where you start to see the boss patterns, and the second one, it's the rage phase, where they shoot a lot more. This is the main event where you have to dodge a lot or just use the bomb. You use the charged shots and the bomb to deal with the bosses. Most of them are fairly easy, especially the starting ones. Save those bombs for this second phase. The main difficulty of the game will be trying to 1cc, 1 credit clear, because it's not just a skill test, it is also an endurance one. You start with a limited number of hearts, and at the max you can gain 1 heart every 300 points. So any damage early on in the run will accumulate on your stress and on the later levels. Do abuse charged shots, bombs, and SAM to get those clear shots and get finally that 1cc. You can do it. Style, some people say, is everything. This game starts with the story cutscene, goes to the main screen. It is styled like a cereal box, even with the callouts as the start and extend points. It changes also when you change it in the options. I love it. So cute. It's the best. If you don't press anything, as I said before, like a good arcade-like game, you get a loop of play. Then opening cinematic, title screen again, go back to the demo play. If you press any button that's not select or the options button, you go straight to the weapon select screen. You will not press a button, go to the main menu and then go there. There's a reason for that. Here in the weapon select screen, you have a limited time to choose between A, B and C weapons. There's also a secret weapon that you have to input a code to use. Oh, arcadey, I love it. To reach the options menu, you press, usually if you are playing with a controller, you press select at any time, main screen, or any other time while playing. There is a good reason for that. It's because you can put this game in an arcade machine, and if you do, you don't want people to mess around the options and give themselves infinite credits. So you choose the options, then set up the machine, and you cannot press select while you're playing in an arcade. Very easy, very obvious, very nice. You can also, there's an option, more options, this game has options everywhere you look. To practice any stage, any part of any stage, you can go directly to, you have a part 1, mini boss 1, part 2, mini boss 2, part 3, boss. Not only that, you can choose how much power you start with, even max power. You can choose how many bombs you start with. It is perfect. Perfect, perfect. In this mode, the practice mode, obviously it's practice, top score will not be saved. In the stages themselves, the UI is pretty simple and practical. The font, it's all white with purple shadow, love it. The other elements have that thick purple chalk outline too. From the top left to right you got your portrait, representing your state with various drawings. I love it so much. You have your hearts below the power meter. In the middle, you get top score at all times. If you are currently the top score, it will keep changing as you get more points. It's basically your gift. It's your reward for being the top score player. Nice. To the right, on the top, you have your current score. Remember, if you die and hit continue, your score will be reset to 0. Pay attention. In the bottom left, you got your bombs with the number of bombs available, also represented by these rectangles with the B inside. Below that, there's a little white bar. It represents a percentage of filling for you to get to your next bomb. In the screen, all around, whenever you get point, it appears on that location. If you have credits set, the number of credits you have will appear on the bottom right corner of the screen. As for the camera, It's always fixed on the stage. It's not fixed on you, because it moves at a set pace. When you encounter a mini boss or boss, the screen scrolling continues, but no new enemies will show up. So you can take your time dodging and fighting the mini bosses and bosses. This is the only part that changes the time that it takes to complete a stage. Very nice. As I said in the other sections, perfect. This series of mine, a good look at a game, exists so that we can appreciate each of the elements that come together to compose a game. Sometimes we don't pay much attention to certain parts of a certain game's due to the enthrallment of the experience while being so immersed in the gameplay. Here, in the case of the locations and scenery for this game specifically, it is a disservice not to look at the beautiful vistas carefully constructed with every element beautifully conceived for the environments and backgrounds of this game. Let us appreciate it together. Usually my explanation of locations includes explaining both the environment and background and foreground. The environment, as I call it, it's what you can interact with, while background and foreground are purely decorative elements, meaning the floor, the walls, the ceilings, and other such elements that you can interact with, and background, which is just the back art of the game. Here in this game there is no environment. The whole screen is yours to fly by, only impeded by the camera movements, enemies and bullets, which is actually a lot. Your movement is very well impeded by lots and lots of bullets. All the stages here then rely on the background, and I'm also happy to report that all the stages in this game are absolutely gorgeous. Heavy parallax with lots of layers. Each stage is a painting made with a limited color palette. To differentiate each one of the stages, and obviously respecting the gaming tradition of elements-based stages. If you're watching this dev, please release desktop background of the stages as wallpapers. I need it so very much. Or at least use it for future background wallpaper for Steam cards, you know? Could have that. We don't have Steam cards yet, I think, in this game. I'll check it later when I talk about the other elements. If anyone here also is watching who is art inclined and like to make some art of the background, we could all enjoy these delightful vistas for a long time. Very well, very nice, very nice. I'll also talk about enemies and bosses of each of the stages, and a little bit I'll talk about the story too. It will contain light spoilers until the ending section, which will contain heavier spoilers. I'll talk about the attacks. They basically consist of bullets, these single colored projectiles. They all have their own colors based on the stage. For maximum clarity, even at the max background brightness, the colors of the stages will change slightly with the difference in the background brightness. Be of note here that when I talk about the stage colors, I'll talk about them in max brightness, or else we would be here for Magic Cat amounts of times. If you haven't seen that video, put it next on your YouTube playlist. It's 3.5 hours of me talking about a cat game. Very nice. Let's start with the forest stage. As far as the eye can see, the shades of green are rife with lots of vegetables, plants and bees as enemies. The mini bosses are a beehive called a sweet comb a la beehive, and a very big flower, the rhododendron. The boss of this stage is Millie, the goblin. She's super cute, with overalls and underappreciated piece of clothing, I believe. Cute girls should wear more overalls. Story-wise, she seems to be grumpy when you talk to her because she didn't get to eat breakfast. It is time to use your cereal magic to bring her back to her senses. She attacks with a basic spread and a bullet rain from above in the first phase. When you get to the second phase, it always happens at midlife, when her life gets to the middle. In the second phase, she has an all-around bullet spread. It is a basic boss, perfect for the first stage for you to learn how to deal with the bosses, with the enemies, etc. After calming her down, she's questioned but knows nothing of the breakfast disappearance. Also, from the dialogue, you can see that Nat takes cereal and breakfast very seriously and won't stand for any slight against either cereal or breakfast in general. She's kinda hard to deal with. Well, on to the next stage, which is the Greek ruins. The color palette here is composed of blues, yellows and shades of purple, including pink. The beautiful pink and yellow sky contrasts very well with the mountains that are a different kind of pink, with the further layers more to the back being more muted. There's a big lake in both blue and yellow, with blue and purple ruins protruding out of it. The deep purple clouds reflect into a lighter shade in the water. Gorgeous. It's, I think, my favorite looking stage. I love it so much. As I said, I need a desktop background with this, with no enemies, maybe even no net, just the background, you know? Here you fight Nautilus slimes, mermaids, fish bones, and Greek statue busts. The mini bosses are a big slime called Bubble Gel Party, and the other one who is called Botticelli, a girl in a shell a la Birth of the Venus. It's that famous painting. The stage's boss is Jules, a cute dark-skinned Medusa. She's not as rude as Millie, but she's still very grumpy and in need of rescuing. Starting with attacks that include a two-wave pattern going up and down like a wave sign. Some slow homing bullets giving way to a second phase with a pattern similar to Melee, but much more intense, also with her own bullet patterns at the same time. When you finish the fight, she's much more friendly, I'd say, than Millie was. But she still knows nothing about the breakfast disappearance. Time to head on to stage 3. It is an ice cave, with the background being composed of loads of ice crystals coming both from above and below in an angle in a sparkling purple back on the cave, with the rest of the palette being shades of blue. In this stage, you fight icicles, ice cream cones, popsicles, snowflakes, ice cubes, small and big. These ice blocks, especially, they are in a lot of different formations blocking your path. You will need to use basically your charged shot to deal with them easily, quickly. The mini bosses here are an ice head with 3 teeth up and down. It will try to chomp you. His name is Zamboni. And there's also a snowman called Snow It All. It shot loads of negative parabola bullets. Watch out for that one. You must try to hit it from above. The stage's boss is Cass, this cute girl who is inspired by something. Maybe I have no idea what it is. Maybe Yeti. She's a girl with ice blue skin and ice horns. I have no idea of kind of mythical creature she's supposed to be inspired by. Anyway, same as others, she's grumpy, she's rude to you. Maybe they are all showing their true personality sometimes, and they are not as nice as they seem to be with Nats, but okay, time to help her anyway. She shoots lots of horizontal spike-like bullets in your direction, and a horizontal kinda big bullet that spread bullets up and down. It's getting kinda difficult now. Very nice. In her second phase, she combines both of those attacks, with the spikes being up and down the screen, limiting your field of action. I love it very much. After dealing with her, she gets better, doesn't know anything. Points you to the direction of the next stage, which is a city at night. You will find this city is gorgeous, but it's a normal city. Here you fight lots of ghosts, a couple of possessed swords, and these cute girls. Maybe they are dead, they might be ghosts. These are the girlfriends. And the mini boss is the Hex wife. She casts a wall of bullets coming to your direction. The other mini boss is this ghost, Boogies. He keeps teleporting around and shooting out bullets in all directions. The boss for this stage is Vivian, the succubus. She's not grumpy because she already doesn't eat breakfast. But she makes one grave mistake. She insults breakfast, saying it's not a very important meal. What are you talking about? This absolutely infuriates Nat to no end, and you will fight her. Anyway. She makes a bullet pattern, turning to trap that will make you basically fly inside a tunnel of bullets. also with other bullets coming in your direction. I love this kind of attack. At the same time, she has more spreads with a couple of big bullets, one up and one down of her. They also shoot spreads and some homing bullets. The first phase is already kinda difficult. The second phase intensifies all of the spreads that she does. Very nice, I love this fight. After the fight, basically Vivian did this to get Nat to calm down a little bit, get it out of her system, fight with everything she had. But she still doesn't know anything about the breakfast disappearance, and of course you very peacefully make your way on to stage 5. Here we have the final stage. It's a magma cave. It has a magma river with lots of magma falls in various layers. There's purple stalactites and stalagmites coming out of the magma lake, making it for a fitting last level. Here you fight demons, demonesses, fireballs, peppers, and a toaster. The mini bosses are Beef Gaze, the dragon, with this actually pretty difficult upward rain pattern. And finally, the other boss is this Beholder. Oh, it's the last mini boss. What's his name? Dave. Perhaps because Wizards of the Coast is very protective of the name, so they just named the guy Dave. Finally get to the last stage's boss. It is Sabine or Sabine, not sure. She's a Green Reaper with a hoodie, very cute. She doesn't even respond when you call to her. It's time for some serial magic. Her first phase is her shooting big bullets that explode in circling bullets that fly everywhere. The second phase is more of that, with spreads together. It is a very difficult fight. Then you defeat her, but even she's clueless about the breakfast disappearance. What's going on? How can you solve this mystery? To know that, of course, we'll move to the next section, the ending, completion, and achievement. As always, beware of spoilers. Suddenly, your deaf friend is struck with a surprise attack. Then she appears, the responsible for breakfast disappearance, a rival witch. She was actually luring you with this quest to take you out and have her cereal be the number one. Because obviously there's no space for 2 cereals with a witch mascot on the market. It is Lamona, a cute witch in a dress. Differently from you, she rides a fork instead of a spoon. How do you eat cereal with a spoon? You eat the grain and drink the milk from the bowl? Let's check out. Is it possible? We have some star cereal here, as you can see. We're just missing the hazelnuts. I'm gonna soak that cereal. Some ASMR time. Still cereal. It is not an unreasonable way to eat it. we live and learn. Live and learn. But I say it's still a little bit better with a spoon. Go net. Anyway, the battle begins. The scenery will change to a purple wave with stars. Very nice. Being the final boss, it's no surprise she has 3 phases instead of 2. It's a third of her health. In the first phase, Lamona shoots uneven spreads at you and a line of medium-sized bullets. When she gets to 2/3 of her health, she shifts to her second phase, which is basically 2 patterns of differently homing attacks at you. Then, when she gets to 1/3 of her health, comes the final phase of the game. Ooh. She shoots a basic spread, but with a lot more bullets than everyone else you have encountered until now. And you also have some very big, some giant bullets that can only be cancelled by the bombs. Go at her, you can do it. She's beatable. After the battle, she prepares for an ultimate attack. She charges this attack, and then she's interrupted when Sabine finishes her off from behind, eye for an eye. She is struck down, and she becomes actually a ghost. She's dead. Your attack from your Green Reaper friend straight up killed her and turned her into a ghost. She doesn't seem to be too bothered by it because now she's not a witch mascot anymore. So now she's a ghost mascot. And now her cereal can be the #1. Oh, very nice! You then get the epilogue for the story. Your final score, if you placed on top 10, you can input your name, then credits will roll. But wait, don't put your controller down, you can actually play the credits. You will play as Sam, shooting everything that appears in your way. You will see the portraits of the characters first. You will see credits of the developers. And also enemies. Each enemy that appears and you shoot at, review their names. This is where I've been getting them from. I love it. Just like, for example, in Donkey Kong Country, you have the Baddies Parade, where you, at the end of the game, you see the enemies' names. It is very good for the world to be built. I love that you shoot the enemies and then their name appears. It's kinda hard to see because you have lots of enemies at the same time. Fortunately, here we have the magic of video, so you can slow it down to check out each of the names that I beat down. I don't think I beat everyone, but it's okay. If you just wanna finish the game, you can go through it all at basically half an hour, maybe even less. But as I said multiple times, this is an arcade game. Replayability and trying to improve your score is what gets you the playtime. You can also aim for achievements, which will take quite a while for you to do. Let's talk about them. They will appear. This side? This side? I think it's this side, yeah. Firstly, there are few for clearing the game with a certain score. 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million points. one for clearing the game using up to 2 credits, also one for 1 credit, then that's the 1cc. Then there's 1cc in moderate mode. This is the almost most difficult one. Then there's the secret achievement. Remember when I said that you had a special weapon, a secret one, a secret type of shot? You have to unlock it, just a combination of buttons. Then it's called the full breakfast, the full English. It's the full English breakfast with sausage, beans, etc. It's a very strange shot. It's very difficult to use it, and you must once see the game with it to get the last achievement. This developer really knows what achievement means. You do not have gate style You do not have gate style achievements. Where, complete stage 1, complete stage 2, complete stage 3. None of that is here. No filler. All the achievements are kinda hard to get, as I feel they should be for a shmup. Very well done. You actually feel as if you achieved something. I only have some of them. Honestly, I do not think I can achieve the rest right now with my current shmup skill level. Maybe when I play a dozen more shmups, make a dozen more shmup videos, I will start to get good at them. Maybe I can even tackle Toho. When I do that and can clear it, I can come back to this game and do all the achievements. Aside from them, you have a special reward for your efforts. It is the leaderboard. You have a friends leaderboard and a global leaderboard, both from normal and moderate modes. Very nice. It's up to you whenever you want to send your score to the leaderboard or not. Choice is always good. The series is getting soggy. Let me eat it while we go to wishlist and conclusions. Eating with a fork. It's strange, so strange. I gotta do the section, right? Okay. For a sequel, I would just hope that we have one. Be it the same bosses or different bosses, I want different patterns, different stages. Story, a different story. It would be very nice to have a next game. Because for this game, I can't think of anything that could be added. This is basically a perfect game. As I said loads of times during this a good look at Hazelnut Hex. If I was a person that reviews games and give them a numerical score, this game would be an easy 10. It's perfect. Considering the genre that is in or not, doesn't matter. This game delivers on everything it sets out to do with precision, style, perfection. An arcade-like experience in the horizontal shmup with basically infinite replayability, a very nice learning opportunity for the genre, cute and charming girls, funny story, dialogues, nice music, options up the wazoo, as people used to say. It is impeccable and encompassing. I love it so very much. This game simply cannot be beat. But you can't beat the game. But the game cannot be beat. It is perfect. I love it so very much. Do play it. You will not regret it. Do buy it. Do buy it, not the buy, not the place. Anyway, thank you guys so very much for watching this one. I have lots of other videos. I'm still just starting out on YouTube. Every subscribing, every hitting the like button, every bell ringing, everything counts. If you can comment down below other games that you want me to take a good look at, or just talk about the game, talk about things, you'll help me immensely. Thank you so very much. See you guys on the next video. I just need to finish eating the cereal even with a fork. Bye bye.